Louisiana baseball stays alive in the Starkville Regional as the young Bulls come out and play extremely well against Lipscomb in the elimination game. Let's recap it right here on Ragin Rundown. What's good, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into another episode of Ragin Rundown, the show where you will know all things UL sports. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick, but you can always call me Fitz. And in today's episode, we will be recapping Louisiana baseball beating Lipscomb in an elimination game in the Starkville Regional. They would pick up a 10-4 victory over the Bison. As we always do, we will go through game flow. We'll talk about the key players that stood out in this matchup, and we'll start to look ahead because as I'm recording this episode at 10:18, Mississippi State and Cincinnati are currently playing. We'll give you a score update talking about this and obviously potentially look ahead at who their opponent will be on Sunday. So coming into this one, obviously, Louisiana was absolutely annihilated by Cincinnati in their 12-2 loss. Cincinnati hit 6 home runs, and it made it look way too easy against UL's pitching staff. So coming into this one, UL was hungry to respond. And boy, did they ever. They would come out swinging immediately in the top of the first, or the bottom of the first, that is, because UL was the home team batting. We would see Blaze Rodriguez come right out with a single to right side, and that would put him on to first. Right after Opelousas Catholic native Mark Collins would hit a 2-run jack, and I believe that was his 5th home run of the season. So they go up 2-0 right out of the gate, and they've already made it very difficult for Lipscomb right out of the gate. From there, in the second inning, Rodriguez would once again single and would advance to second on a throwing error. Noah Lewis, after being walked, he would be on third. So you have 2 runners in scoring position. And Mark Collins, once again, has 4 RBI, which would be a career high for the sophomore. He would hit a 2-run single to left that drove in Rodriguez and Lewis. So now it's 4-0, and the pressure has already been applied to Lipscomb once again. Now, like we talked about in multiple episodes, this has been the key for Louisiana. You have a great pitching start from your bullpen, which Ty Roman got the start in this one. He gave you 3 innings. It did take him a little bit of a while to get adjusted. He only went 3 innings for you, and I think he was up to 30 pitches after the first inning. So it took him a while to try to get out of those jams early on for you. But when you're able to give early run support, it takes the pressure off of your starting pitcher to where he knows, hey, as long as I can continue to play my game well, my guys are going to score. And it's not as much pressure saying that I got to keep this a 0-0 game until my team can make it a 1-0 game or a 2-0 game. And so it puts you in a much better place, especially when you're in an elimination game. It takes off the pressure from everyone else, and they can play fast, hard, and loose like what they normally like to do. And obviously, a young guy like Mark Collins continuing to step up in this lineup. We've seen him emerge more and more, especially here in the postseason, as being a really consistent guy for you that if you need someone to get on, if you need an RBI driven in, he has been a guy that can do that for you. Obviously, Noah Lewis and Blaze Rodriguez have been table setters for you in the past, and Blaze got you going really early with the leadoff. And now you talk about Mark coming in right in behind him, Mark Collins coming right in behind him, being able to drive those runs in as well. You get to the 3rd inning, and Lipscomb comes with a response. Jordan Thomas answers with a 2-run homer that cuts the deficit now 4-2. Pressure's back on you. Colt Brown turns right back around. Another young guy that's been tremendous for you. He hits a solo home run. I think that was his 6th of the season. You get an immediate response. I've talked about response so many times on the show. You know how I feel about it. And that was important for them to be able to do that. Championship teams are always going to be able to answer whenever you need to. It doesn't matter the situation. It doesn't matter how hard it is or how great the pitcher is that they're facing or how great the defense is that they're facing. Championship teams respond. And if Louisiana is going to continue to be the type of team that they believe they can be, they're going to have to continue to be able to respond. Colt Brown's homer prevented a huge momentum swing because if you don't score there, now Lipscomb can potentially come back in there in the 4th inning and flip things around for you all the way around. You get there in the 4th inning, Blaze Rodriguez comes up once again very big for you with an RBI single. And I think also that's when Ty Roman would be taken out. Parker Smith comes into the game. They're in the bottom of the fourth. Like I said, Blaze Rodriguez would get an RBI single thanks to after Josh Lim got a single to left field. I'm looking at the box score falling down there to make sure that I stay in line. They actually scored another run at some point in the third inning. Yeah, I talked about that with Cole Brown making it 5-2. Then you talk about it being 6-2 with Blaze Rodriguez's RBI single after Josh Lim singled to left field. So it's 6-2 at that point. You get to the fifth inning, and once again, Cole Brown singles up the middle. Drew Markle hits a single to left. So now Cole Brown is at second. Drew Markle is at first. Josh Lim comes up. He was big for you, right? Like the whole thing about not just this lineup, but the young talent that you have, the Cole Browns, the Blaze Rodriguez, the Mark Collins, the Josh Lims, the Noah Lewis, is like all of these guys have proven that the sky is the limit and that the future is going to continue to be bright for this program, but that the time is also now because they are coming up big for you in big moments, despite being young in their careers. So you're now up 7-2, and then after that, Josh Lim was still second. He advances to third. Markle scores on a wild pitch. They're now up 8-2. Lipscomb would come back and they would respond with a solo home run of their own that makes it 8-3. In the seventh inning, they would cut it once again to a 4-run deficit as they get an RBI single. It'd be 8-4. And after that, Louisiana tacks on a couple more runs in the bottom of the eighth. Blaze Rodriguez singles, and then he is able to get all the way around to third after a throwing error. Noah Lewis scores as a result of that error. That made it 9-4. Lee Amade flies out on the sac fly. That brings in Blaze Rodriguez to make it 10-4. And that's how they were able to pull away in this victory. So kudos to the Cajuns for handling business. Having their backs against the wall, knowing that they needed to win a game in order to continue their season. And Coach Diggs talked about in post game how it wasn't about staying alive. It was about getting to win number 40 for this team more than anything else. So we're going to talk about some of the guys, the spotlight players that really stood out in this one, and we'll talk about the stat lines that they had in this one. We'll discuss it when we come back here on Ragin Rundown. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Ragin Rundown. We're going to get back into the action in just a second, but before we do, please do me a favor. If you're watching this video, please like it, share it, and leave a comment down below. But most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're listening, follow the podcast feed, rate the show, and leave us a review because that's going to help us get in front of more Ragin Cajun fans just like yourself. So the Cajuns pick up a 10-4 victory over Lipscomb, and they handled the business that they needed to in order to get this huge victory. And it puts them now in a position where, again, it's win or go home from here on out. But you saw a lot of young guys step up big. Mark Collins, we talked about already. He goes 3 for 4 RBI on the day, including a home run. Blaze Rodriguez was 4 for 5. He scored 3 runs and also had an RBI. Cole Brown was 3 for 4 and had an RBI, the home run that he hit in this game. Josh Lim was 2 for 4 for you as well. So all of the guys that came up big for you in the lineup were young guys, right? And when you're able to do that, like I mentioned earlier, when you're able to have young players that no matter the stage, that they're able to handle business and understand that whoever I'm facing, that I'm going to come up big in this moment, that makes you a very, very dangerous team. Because when you have older guys like a Drew Markle and a Lee Amade that continue to invoke confidence in those young guys, it continues to make them believe that they can get the job done. And it makes you a very dangerous team as you continue throughout your season. From a pitching standpoint, Ty Roman, like I mentioned, not necessarily struggled as much, but some of his best stuff wasn't there right off the bat. And Coach Diggs even mentioned it a little bit in post game. He goes 3 innings for you. He throws out 67 total pitches. He strikes out 4 batters, but he gets hit 3 times. He walks 3 batters and allows 2 earned runs. So he goes 3 innings for you. After that, Parker Smith, Hayden Pearson, and Sawyer Pruitt all combined for allowing just 3 hits and 1 earned run. and two other strikeouts, and yeah, two other strikeouts and two walks. So after Lipscomb kind of came in and tried to make a little bit of noise after they cut that deficit 4-2, after that, they go scoreless in the fourth, scoreless in the fifth, scoreless in the eighth, scoreless in the ninth. So 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the final 6 innings, they're left scoreless. Offensively, the Cajuns were able to score in every inning except for the sixth and the seventh. So from a relief pitcher standpoint, you were able to get some really good moments for you. Parker Smith earning the win, Hayden Pearson kind of being the bridge in those middle innings, and then Sawyer Pruitt coming in and being able to slam the door shut. And sometimes that's what it takes. You know, when you get to postseason baseball, especially with how the Cajuns had to use a lot of their arms in the conference tournament, playing 7 games in 6 days, a lot of these guys are going to be worn down. And so it now puts them in an interesting predicament because as these guys are continuing to throw more and more innings, like after Ty Roman, in terms of the number of pitches that you have, Parker Smith goes 39, so we'll definitely see him again. Hayden Pearson goes 23, we'll definitely see him again. Sawyer Pruitt goes 29, and I think we'll see him again as well. So you've utilized some of those younger guys, but not to the extent where they're done for the entire weekend. But now you're going to have to figure out how you can mix and match things in your elimination game on Sunday. So again, like I mentioned, you were able to finish things off. Kudos to all the young guys for being able to handle their business for you on the offensive end, and you being able to create separation, keep the distance, and being able to ultimately slam the door shut to keep your season alive. You get to 40 wins, which, if I'm not mistaken, Raymond Parks brought the stat up. I think he said that it was the 14th time or the 7th time somewhere in the last couple of years that they have gotten to 40 wins, and it's the 14th time in the NCAA tournament that they've won at least one game in a regional. So it's continuing to keep a standard. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to hear that and going to say, man, we want to go back to the old days when we're going to super regionals, we're hosting, and we're going to the College World Series. And I hear you. I understand where you're coming from. Times are a lot different now, and it's going to take time to continue to be able to build this thing out. You have young pieces that we've mentioned so many times, so many episodes, and we mentioned a bunch of them in this episode. You've got to be able to keep these guys. You got to be able to keep that bond together. And then ultimately, they've got to go out and put a winning product on the field. So you get to 40 wins on the season, and you put yourself in a position now where you will have to win 2 games tomorrow and then win 1 on Monday in order to be able to get out of this regional. We know that Andrew Herman is going to start for the Cajuns in Sunday's first game. That pitch will be at 2 p.m. And as I'm recording this episode at 10:30, Mississippi State is leading Cincinnati 8-1 in the top of the 7th. So as it stands, this could change as of me recording this episode. It can be completely different. Depends on when I upload it, all of those things like that. As it stands, you're going to have a rematch against Cincinnati. So that means you're going to have to face those guys that hit all those tanks over and over and over again in the initial game that you played in on Friday. Andrew Herman is going to come out. Coach Diggs said that he's going to give him the ball and let him go as long as he can. I expect him to go a complete game. I expect him to throw until he cannot throw anymore. He's not going to want to come off the mound. He is a senior. This is his last year, and he does not want this to be his last game. He's going to give his all, and whatever happens from there happens. So you'll likely get Cincinnati in the first game. If you're able to win from there, you have to beat Mississippi State twice. And guys, I'm not saying that, they're this amazing team that you can't beat, but on top of the atmosphere that because I was there for the first 3 or 4 innings of the game with Cincinnati. It's an electric atmosphere. There are going to be a lot of distractions around. These guys are going to have to focus in early. They're going to have to score runs early if they get to that game. Now the formula is still the same. Get great run support early, get great pitching, and then hold the lead, slam the door shut on the back end. Coach Diggs said it in post. I don't have the post-game sound because it was a little overmodulated on my end, playing it out, trying to get sound bites and everything. But I'm basically telling you, he said that if they are not able to get run support and are not able to score runs, then they will go home. Now, if you want to watch that full press conference, I do have it uploaded on my social media accounts on Facebook and Twitter at JFitzTV. It's going to be a little overmodulated, but for the most part, you can hear what he was saying in that post-game press conference. They're going to have to come out. They're going to have to put their best foot forward. It's win or go home. This is your season. This is an opportunity for you to be able to answer the bell. If they're able to do that, it would be a phenomenal feat, and it would be a great thing to be able to see the Ragin Cajuns to be able to get it done. Like I said, Andrew Herman will get the start tomorrow, likely against the Cincinnati Bearcats. He'll likely go the distance. If he gives you 7, then you probably think about a Tyler Pappenbrock on the back end. You still have Hayden Pearson and Parker Smith available. You still have Sawyer Pruitt available. But then after that, it's going to get really tricky with the amount of depth that you have, because a lot of guys have been utilizing their arms throughout this postseason. So we'll be keeping our eyes on that. And we'll always be talking about it right here on Ragin Rundown. That's going to wrap up this episode of Ragin Rundown. If you've made it to this point in the video, please do me a favor. Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you so much for watching it. Please do me a favor, like it, share it, and leave a comment down below. But most importantly, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're listening, follow the podcast feed, rate the show, and leave us a review, because that's going to help us get in front of more Ragin Cajun fans just like yourself. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick. We'll see you guys next time.